Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star original continent based on novel. So let's start. In the snow grounds over 100,000 kilometers away from Luo Feng, a black silhouette lay hidden. This human can't seem to teleport, but he is still very strong. Even though my doppelgangers only have a portion of my strength, he killed them so easily. He's at least pinnacle emperor, it's better to let the other punks deal with this guy first. The silhouette vanished. Luo Feng continued to walk unhurriedly, enjoying the scenery. That soul-swallowing beast is not coming. I only showed a little of my strength, and yet I scared him away. He sure is cautious. Luo Feng continued on. He had been walking in a straight line for close to 10 million kilometers, yet other than that beast, he hadn't discovered anyone else. His eyes gleamed. In the distant ice mountain peak, there stood a silhouette. The two of them stood 100,000 kilometers away from each other. But with their vision, as long as there wasn't anything obstructing, they could easily see each other. The silhouette turned to face him. He had a huge god body covered in fur, and his vertical eyes stared straight at Luo Feng. Ka-2 race. Luo Feng thought. The Ka-2 race were one of the subsidiary races under the demon race. They were renowned for their cold-heartedness and ferocity. When Luo Feng confirmed the Ka-2 warrior on the distant peak, he knew that a bloody fight was imminent. The warriors instantly became a beam of light, leaving a resplendent silhouette, as he rushed straight at Luo Feng. Luo Feng stood there and looked up at him rushing over, patiently waiting. The two of them got closer and closer. The Ka-2 warrior's eyes were filled with madness and killing intent. This made Luo Feng display the same. The warriors trapped in ice hell. Why are all of them so direct in attacking their enemies immediately? The Ka-2 warrior unleashed space lockdown, making it impossible for both parties to teleport. Luo Feng smiled within. This Ka-2 warrior probably didn't know how to teleport. In truth, he himself couldn't either. Hence, there was no need for space lockdown at all. Human, die. The warrior roared. Either one of us will die today. Rumble. A terrifying force rushed from the Ka-2 warrior. Luo Feng, who had been calm all this while, was shocked, burning his undying body. He's mad. Even if he wanted to fight me to the death, he needn't have burnt his undying energy before even finding out my strength. Burning too much at once requires a long time to recover. Luo Feng flapped his wings and swiftly dodged the attack from the Ka-2 warrior. Ka-2 warrior, I haven't met you before. Why have you burnt your undying energy without even knowing my strength? Even if you want to kill me, if I was weak, wouldn't you have wasted your energy? Luo Feng communicated. A ferocious blood-colored blade slashed through the air. Luo Feng dodged it easily. Luo Feng used the Sha Wu wings to dodge over and over. This Ka-2 warrior before him was about pinnacle emperor level. The moment he burnt his undying energy, Luo Feng had no way to match force with him. He could only dodge more and let him burn more of his energy. Even after burning my undying energy, my speed still cannot match yours. The warrior seemed to be lost in his madness. Human, if you are strong enough, fight me head-on. Even if I die, let me die from a head-on fight. Ka-2 warrior, do you think I'm stupid? Luo Feng easily dodged over and over. The Ka-2 warrior was incredibly powerful after burning his undying energy, but it was pointless. He couldn't even touch Luo Feng. If the warrior had heard of Blade River's name, he probably wouldn't have done something so stupid. But it was obvious the warriors locked in ice hell probably didn't even know of Blade River. Ha ha. The Ka-2 warrior suddenly looked up and laughed loudly, his laughter rippling in all directions like a shockwave. He stood in mid-air, not chasing anymore, and laughed. Ha 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 ha, ha ha ha. He seemed mad. Even though he simply stood there and laughed, what shocked Luo Feng was that he continued burning his undying body, not stopping at all. Ka-2 warrior. Luo Feng spoke. Ha ha ha, this is fate, it's fate. The Ka-2 warrior looked up and laughed. I've grown all this while. When I was young I was even a genius, until I became an emperor and got powerful enough. However, I was trapped in ice hell after. The moment that happened, I would never escape, spending the rest of eternity in here. My race has probably long forgotten about me, my loved ones are probably all dead, I guess only a few of my friends are alive. I cannot leave. Wasting so much time, and I still have to battle with all you punks, killing to survive. Ha ha, never relenting over a trillion eras. I cannot take it anymore. Old blind, soul swallowing, you can all struggle, I'll be taking my leave first. His voice resounded in all directions. The Katu warrior looked at the shocked Luo Feng. Human, I wanted to die in a mad battle. I didn't expect to not even get that chance. Are you just giving up? Luo Feng asked. What else can I do? Human, being in ice hell is the greatest torture. He shook his head. Unless you have an absolute being in your race that favors you and will come take you away personally. Otherwise, there's no hope of ever getting out. My race has probably long forgotten about me. I'm leaving. Release. He exploded his body and a huge sun was generated from the blast, as endless energies shot in all directions. He didn't even care about the human beside him, he was already lost in despair. As to whether the human survived the blast, he couldn't even be bothered. If he died, so be it, that would be a release for the human too. Deep in the ice mountains, the soul-swallowing beast sat cross-legged, hearing the voice that spread throughout ice hell, its fierce eyes shook with some hurt within. Old friend, are you just giving up? If you wanted to die, why don't you die by my hands, that way I'd have a chance of leaving. The beast's hoarse voice resounded within the cave. Over 1,000 kilometers deep in a snow cave, a wriggling silhouette sat crossed-legged. It had a human-like head, his eyes were closed as he sighed, he's free. In a majestic palace deep in the oceans of ice hell. Another idiot has given up, good, good, good. The more the merrier, the more dead the better. That way my chances of leaving are higher. Go and die, you idiots. The many warriors locked for endless ages within ice hell all either felt hurt, laughed, or were indifferent. They had different reactions, but no one was shocked, because this type of suicidal incidents had happened many times before. The energies flowed madly about in mid-air. Luo Feng gradually opened his wings that wrapped around him. Floating in mid-air, he looked at the world ring, weapons, armor etc. that the Katu warrior left behind. Suicide. Anyone able to reach emperor level should all have strong willpower. Which one doesn't have their own beliefs? To actually be forced to suicide. Luo Feng muttered. The words from the warrior before rang in his ears. He slowly began to understand why he did so. The Katu race is a weak race. Even a strong demon warrior here cannot contact their race. Much less a subsidiary race like the Katu. Luo Feng said softly. They don't have the virtual universe and have no way to make contact, they can only stay in here and suffer. Killing is the main thing in ice hell. After endless time, solitude, trapped and being unable to make contact. The endless killing and battles. 1 year, 100, 10,000 years, he finally crumbled within. Luo Feng thought. This was the battle against solitude and time. Against time, if one was forever in solitude, even an emperor would crumble. What's going on? Luo Feng was indeed shocked by the suicide of the Katu warrior. He no longer had the patience to walk about slowly, immediately becoming a beam of light and flying in the skies. He shot across the skies. He constantly recalled and pondered what happened before. The more he thought about it, the more shocked he was. I was able to even withstand the life or death inheritance back then, but that was only over 6,000 years, yet every second and year became increasingly difficult. However, I stuck to my beliefs. If I was in the same situation as that Katu before, knowing my loved ones were long gone, would I be able to persevere for trillions of eras in ice hell? He asked himself. Could he do it? Yes. Definitely. He nodded. He would definitely leave and find a way to revive his loved ones. If he couldn't, he would take revenge on the Green Knight, as it was the night that took away his precious time with his family. Strength, the Green Knight is strong, who is able to lock so many powerful warriors in here for his game? Luo Feng thought. If any of them managed to become a knight in here, the Green Knight would probably immediately eliminate him. Luo Feng flew in the skies. Below him was an endless snowy plain, with ice mountains all around. He finally saw a transparent huge ice tablet. The tablet was majestic, and on it carved were demon language words. No wonder. He read the words and muttered. What a vicious Green Knight. The characters etched on the ice tablet were divulging the only living chance within all of Ice Hell. Since the last massacre, Ice Hell has detained 12,000 undying of the barbarian race, each of whom has an identification tag. Anyone who can gather 10,000 tags will be able to leave Ice Hell safely, whereas those who can't will be killed. This is what it means by massacre. There was a massacre before, and there was one powerful man of the human race left the Ice Hell in one piece. Barbarian races, uttered Luo Feng. This is your only chance to survive. Fight and take others' tags if you want to get out. And only one of you will be able to make it. Each character contained an incredible and terrific godly power, and that stress struck the surroundings continuously like a billow. Even knights couldn't subdue Luo Feng, let alone the characters left by them. How cruel this Green Knight is, Luo Feng whispered, by giving a glimpse of hope to the detainees while depriving them of all the other chances. Only one out of the 12 undying can get out, whereas all others will be killed. The strong are unreconciled to surrender to the fate, and they'll fight. That's how it came to be one slaughter after another, full of maliciousness. And that's why there were breakdowns after constant failures, which led to suicides. The Purple Knight and the Green Knight had detained those undying who had ventured among Ice Hell stars in eternity, or souls with some special skills. It was likely that all the powerful, who had some solid background, or were valued by their clans, had been taken away by the superior races, whereas those who were detained here had no connections. The clans forgot about them. The only thing they could do was to struggle. Only one will win. Luo Feng sighed in his heart. And I can't even know for sure that the one who got out actually survived, or was killed by the Purple Knight the moment he stepped outside. Ice Hell couldn't detain the real geniuses like Kudai, Luo Feng, Seven-Blade Emperor, and Lifefall Emperor, who were especially valued by their own clans and had emergency help. The supreme creatures of the clans, like the masters of the universe, would come pick them up. The Purple Knight and the Green Knight didn't have the guts to disobey the masters of the universe. Master Mountain Sitting Guest, Luo Feng murmured, it's not typical of you to give me such a dangerous, but useless task to steal the black metal from here. Ice Hell is what you want me to experience. You want to let me feel the struggles of the powerful. You want to make clear to me the fundamental rule of the universe, the law of the jungle. Luo Feng continued muttering to himself. Luo Feng stood in front of the ice tablet silently. On the snowfield 70,000 kilometers away from Luo Feng, following a noise that sounded like a transparent leaf gradually appeared from within the snow, facing the direction of Luo Feng. Human. It's human. The only human in Ice Hell. He must have the machine to connect to the virtual universe, possibly an anonymous connector. The powerful one deep in the snow was thrilled because the previous soul-swallowing beast was reluctant to fight Luo Feng, while the dead powerful one of the Ka2 clan wanted nothing but death. Anonymous account. The virtual universe. The virtual universe that belongs to a human. The powerful one deep in the snow couldn't suppress his desire. It was too lonely for him to stay in Ice Hell, while the anonymous connector used by humans could be used by them as well. To the powerful ones in Ice Hell, it was definitely a treasure worth fighting for, as it could placate their loneliness. Kill. Kill him. I want to connect to the virtual universe. A blurry, transparent figure 80 meters tall suddenly jumped out of the snow. Following his teleportation, it vanished in the air. Luo Feng was still standing in front of the enormous ice tablet when a strange, 80-meter-tall creature resembling a 30-story skyscraper suddenly appeared behind him. It was covered with leaves, which were transparent like glass. Its thick vines held a long, black chain. With a call that sounded like "hualolo," the black chain came winding toward Luo Feng like a fiercely dancing snake. Lu Feng opened his wings, leaving a locus with twists, and flew behind the creature. The chain fell to the snowfield instead of winding around Luo Feng. The land trembled with chasms, but the ice tablet remained intact. Human! The transparent creature roared. It's useless to run. No matter how fast you are. Who? The black chain reached its speed limit, with a halo around it. At the time, Luo Feng saw nothing but countless illusions of the chain. At this point, Luo Feng could but admit that when the opposite side was giving its best, his flight and arm speeds were, indeed, relatively slower. 6 black balls with fuzzy purple halos appeared around Luo Feng's palms. He threw them out randomly. Howl! The lore engravings on the 6 black balls became a plethora of golden threads, triggering the universe origin lore all at once. Suddenly, a phantom of a several hundred-meter-long beast god appeared in the sky, storming toward the transparent creature with its attacking claw. The creature wasn't careless, and it controlled its chain to defend against the beast. The claw of the beast god whacked the black chain away. The chain fell onto the snowfield afar, cracking the whole field, and the chain slipped into the depths of the field. Howl! The beast god was bellowing, beating the creature's body with its claw directly. The transparent creature vanished and dodged the attack. It reappeared behind Luo Feng and tried to grab him with its thick arm under the leaves. Space lock. Luo Feng turned on the arm of locking sky on his armor, after which the fluctuations in the space stopped suddenly. The characters of the aboriginals living on Cang Jiang land were looming in the air, and at the same time, Luo Feng vibrated his wings and pulled a move from Moon Policy. His wings cut like blades. The transparent creature felt its arm being slashed by a bizarre strength. A transparent arm fell onto the snow from the sky. Die! Luo Feng looked at the creature from afar, and the beast god was marching toward it, roaring. The living being brayed and tried to escape by going underground. Meanwhile, it waved its chain to stop the beast god. However, Luo Feng's power, with his spiritual force, could match that of the top of Emperor-level Undying, and together with the star map, even the best Emperor-level monsters were not his match, not to mention this transparent creature, which just entered the apex of Emperor level. The beast god whacked the black chain again, and grabbed it with its claw. Slice. The claw thrust into its body, with the 6 balls covered with Famo venom injected inside. No, the creature screamed with great despair. It was one of the least powerful ones among the survivors in Ice Hell, but it was still extremely resistant to harm. For one, it had the power of teleportation, and it had a gigantic body. Even with his body burning rapidly, he could persist much longer than other creatures. However, half of its godly body was destroyed the moment the 6 black balls went through it. The 6 black balls turned into 6 traces of light and flew back to Luo Feng's hands, after which, they disappeared. Human, the creature said as it looked to Luo Feng. You should know that half of your body is gone, said Luo Feng, and although he said it this way, he was awed by the creature's vitality. After all, the 6 poisonous pearls could only destroy 30% of the limit emperors, where it damaged barely 50% of this more fragile peak emperor. Luo Feng looked at the transparent creature. You can only use 1/10 of your strength now, he said. And you're not even my match. It gazed at Luo Feng in the snow. Human, say whatever you want to say. I admit that I'm not your equal and you're faster than me, so there's no chance for me to escape. I'm all yours, now. But you have to understand, hardly anyone is afraid of death in Ice Hell. I'll self-destruct if I'm rendered with no choice. I just saw one that exploded, Luo Feng said, smiling faintly, so don't try to blow yourself up, as it won't pose any danger to me. However, I do have something to ask you now, and if you answer honestly, I can spare your life. Spare my life? The creature found it impossible to believe. I always keep my promises. Luo Feng landed on the ground and said, I've already given you a chance. Don't you waste it. Ask, human, it responded. What kind of creatures are you? Luo Feng asked him pointedly. I know almost every creature in the universe. He wondered how there was another species he didn't know of. If it were a special life, it would make sense. However, it didn't fight like one. I'm from the Cang Jiang clan, the creature answered, and it's one of the botanic creatures. But I met with a mishap when adventuring in the secret area of the universe, and I turned into this after mutation. Mutation? Luo Feng was dazed. Actually, black warriors who used blood river crystals and therefore had their genes and body shapes changed went through a process similar to mutation. Nine Dome Tome, for example, could help genes experience one great leap after another. But comparatively, it was more refined, so it didn't leave any visible change on the outside. I'll ask you again, Luo Feng said. Why did you come and try to kill me without knowing you'd succeed? Human, the creature of the Cang Jiang clan answered with a deep voice. You should know that although most of the creatures trapped in ice hell have a strong desire for survival, they've lost their prudence after being here for such a long time. To some extent, they might lust for death. That's why they'll fight the strangers without knowing their power. Because there's no downside to it. Don't compare the circumstances of the outside world to those of ice hell. There are extremely powerful creatures in ice hell, and some of them are special. All of them are able to survive the infinite time. Peak emperors like me don't even stand a chance, and we're struggling because we don't want to give in. The creature looked at Luo Feng. As for me, it continued, I came to kill you because I want that anonymous scanner. I want to sense the virtual universe. I want to feel the world outside. Luo Feng nodded after hearing what it said. He could understand how much those powerful ones, who were detained for countless eras, wanted to enter the virtual universe, as he saw and reunited with his family when he was adventuring in the universe. The virtual universe made Luo Feng feel as if it were reality, and he believed that those detained here had the same desire. Do you have an anonymous sensor? The creature of Cang Jiang clan suddenly asked. Luo Feng was stupefied. I'll do anything for you if you let me enter the virtual universe and get in touch with the outside, the creature continued. I don't have one, Luo Feng said, shaking his head. The creature was left in despair. Luo Feng didn't show any empathy, because he knew that nobody could ever know that he had the sensor. If they did, he would become the common enemy to everyone in ice hell. And those powerful ones would conspire to attack him. Luo Feng was not that stupid. Let me ask you one more thing. Luo Feng looked at the giant creature in front of him. Do you all believe that you can make your way out if you get 10,000 tags? I do. Of course, I do. The creature looked more vital. The Green Knight said it long before, in public, that he would not play us. And anyway, we have no choice but to trust him. Luo Feng frowned. How was ice hell in the past eras? How many have survived? How powerful are they? Killing. Backstabbing. Intrigue. One can do anything for that slight trace of hope. The creature gave an ear-piercing laugh. Humans. The powerful ones in ice hell were much more ruthless than those outside. Some are even willing to perish together. Luo Feng recalled the powerful one of the Ka2 clan, and how it had blown itself up. It did have the intention of fighting Luo Feng, and had wanted to perish with him. However, it couldn't even touch him, and didn't even care whether or not Luo Feng was beside it when it committed suicide. As for powers, the creature went on. The potential of the powerful ones could be stimulated under extreme pressure. Since the Infinite Era, 860 powerful ones have survived. 860. Luo Feng sighed, because it meant that 11,000 undying were dead. Everyone was pushed to the edge, the creature said. And that's why those who come from a strong bloodline have an advantage. Among the 860 survivors, peak emperors and high-level emperors were the least powerful, and high-level emperors can do nothing but hide. As for peak emperors, they have the guts to fight, but they are in the bottom 800. Also, there are 50 limit emperors. On top of that, there are 10 who are almost as powerful as invincible emperors and 5 who are, indeed, invincible emperors. Let me show you something. It waved its enormous arm, after which, a huge ice tablet fell from the sky. Luo Feng took a look. It was 10-meter-tall ice tablet, on which were thickly dotted demon race characters. This is the ranking of the powerful ones in Ice Hell. The Cang Jiang creature groaned. It was too lonely and dull to stay in Ice Hell, and it was impossible to practice at ease, because you can be attacked at any time. During the infinite amount of time spent here, the ranking is one of the few things that pique our interest. One of the invincible emperors, Sky Wolf, ranked everyone according to their strengths. How is it possible to rank everyone? Luo Feng said, scowling. When two are equal, it's difficult to tell which one will prevail in a fight. Of course, we know, said the creature. However, the ranking by Sky Wolf is credible, and it's based on all the combat that has taken place in Ice Hell. Although they are hopeless, getting into the top 100 or top 50 is an improvement for them. Don't you think it's pathetic? We're so lonesome that we're fixated on the ranking. The creature laughed with its body trembling. Luo Feng looked at the ranking on the tablet. It is good of you to defeat me, the creature continued. However, those terrifically powerful ones are very strong. Neither the 5 invincible emperors nor the 10 that come close are easy to deal with. And you, as a newcomer, will surely be subjected to one sneak attack after another. Unless you can defeat the limit emperors and prove yourself, you will endure it forever. Luo Feng nodded. Go, he said. You're really letting me go? The creature couldn't help asking. Luo Feng looked at him. I'll change my mind if you don't. I'll give you a suggestion, human, said the creature. Don't have any form of kindness here, or you'll only end up with misery. The creature's voice echoed in the sky while he escaped using teleportation. Luo Feng had already undone the space. Luo Feng looked at the tablet on the ground and remembered everything on it with a glance. He then put it into the world ring. As for the advice from the creature, he didn't take it to heart. The powerful didn't change their personalities, just because of a line from others. Creature of Ka2 clan, ranked 732, Luo Feng mumbled. Creature of Cang Jiang clan, ranked 611. Soul-swallowing beast, ranked 102. He realized that the creatures of the Ka2 clan and the Cang Jiang clan, whom he had defeated, were ranked at the bottom, whereas the soul-swallowing beast was ranked high because of its gift. Luo Feng had a clear picture of Ice Hell by reading the passage on the tablet. In the center of Ice Hell was Ice Sea. There were 5 districts in Ice Hell: Ice Sea, Eastern Ice Hell, Western Ice Hell, Northern Ice Hell, and Southern Ice Hell. The 5 invincible emperors had their own manners, and would fight each other only under uncommon circumstances. 3 of the invincible emperors are special creatures, Luo Feng muttered to himself. One of the remaining 2 is from the Sea Iron clan, the other is this Sky Wolf from the royal demon race. The golden horned beasts were 10 times stronger than humans. The bodies of human peak emperors were 100,000 times more forceful than those of sector lords, whereas the bodies of the beast were 1,000,000 times more forceful. Nevertheless, the weakest special creatures could match the level of golden horned beasts, not to mention the ones in Ice Hell. The weakest special species was 60 times as forceful than human beings, and the strongest was 200 times as forceful. Putting aside other amplitude scrolls, the strongest one out of the 3 peak emperors was 20 million times more forceful than sector lords. How unbelievable! The Sea Iron clan was a scarce race in the universe, and was comparable to the Mo-Sho clan. They were 10 times more forceful than humans. Sky Wolf, on the other hand, was the least gifted one and was 6 times more forceful than humans. In short, the 5 invincible emperors were highly gifted, per se, and after an infinite amount of time of torture, every one of them had tremendous powers. 3 special creatures survived Ice Hell, and all of them became invincible. Luo Feng sighed. Special creatures are indeed almighty. The constitution of human bodies is comparatively weaker, and it was more difficult for them to reach the invincible level. Luo Feng gradually realized the disadvantages facing the human races in the universe. Humans were barely mediocre when it came to body constitution. However, a few of the supreme beings that could shake the whole universe came from the human race. Luo Feng built an underground residence in the snow beside the ice sea. He was practicing there temporarily. According to the ranking on the tablet, each of the invincible emperors is as powerful as my teacher, Truyang Emperor, Luo Feng whispered. I'm not capable enough to get 10,000 tags, but it's a good thing. I'll treat it as a chance to steel myself, after which I'll defeat them one by one. Only then will I walk out of ice hell. As for Purple Knight, it doesn't matter whether it means to let me go or not. If it wants to toy with me, I'll summon my teacher, Burgrave of Chaos City. I'll make it lose everything. Luo Feng closed his eyes and cleared his mind. While everyone else was busy trying to get out of here, Luo Feng would treat it as a practice field. A 3-meter-high red creature, covered with bony spurs, marched through the snow. It wore a scarlet mask, and the 10,000 square kilometer area was engulfed in fire under the hefty law. Everywhere it touched evaporated. However, when it walked by, the water in the boiling lakes coagulated into snow under the effects of ice hell, as if nothing had happened. It stopped and looked down. Footprints, it said. A stranger's footsteps. The voice had echoes in its chest. There is a stranger in ice hell, it said. How reckless was he that he dared not to erase his footsteps? Is it confidence? It strode. The snow it passed by turned into boiling lakes, and the entire law field was under its detection. Eventually, it reached the shoreline of Ice Sea. Hong! A silver shadow jumped up into the sky. He opened his wings and floated in the air, overlooking everything beneath. The barbarian looked up at Luo Feng and smirked. That giant eye was filled with madness. Human, it bellowed. Bone Emperor, 10 of the limit emperors, Luo Feng said, looking down upon it with this information in his mind. Ranked 11. 5 invincible emperors and the 10 top limit emperors were the 15 most powerful creatures in Ice Hell. Other than those 5 invincible emperors, the 10 limit emperors weren't scared of anything. Human. Human, it growled, growing madder by the second. Bone Emperor. Luo Feng's voice passed over from the above. The sense of war and killing intent permeated the air. This video will end here. Scanner. Luo Feng was bewildered. Loneliness, the creature said, staring at Luo Feng. Grappling between life and death for countless eras with no end in sight. Can you even imagine how luxurious it is to enter the virtual universe? This video will end here.